Hi, everyone. It's Michael Jeffries, and I want to thank you once again for all your feedback on the Trumpowski, the D5 variation that I put up, the trap. It seemed like it was a big hit, and so that encouraged me to put up another one. And today we're going to look at traps in the Englund Gambit. Englund is spelled Englund, and it's a trap for black. It's named after a chess player. And I don't think it's a very good trap, but there are a few things you have to watch out for. So let's take a look at this. And first, I'm going to show you what black wants to do, and then I'll show you how you can combat this. So it begins d4, and black plays e5. This is the Englund Gambit, and you should just take that pawn. And knight c6 can be played to recover the pawn, but I'll show you one. Queen e7 is one possible line where they're attacking the pawn. And the best move here is knight f3, guarding it. But let's say if you do play bishop f4, that's a mistake, because then they go queen check on b4 with a triple attack. Check, and then your bishop's attacked, and also the pawn on b2 is attacked. And Queen d2 is not such a good move, because they'll take the pawn on b2 and your rook's hanging. And some players, especially in a blitz game, will play queen c3, thinking they've cleverly protected the rook on a1, and also the rook's needed to guard the knight on b1. Unfortunately, that allows bishop to b4, winning white's queen. So you don't want to fall for that. So that's one idea that black has. So let's go back, and now I'll show you the more common is knight c6. They usually play that, and like I said, you want to play knight f3 and then queen e7, and then you go ahead and play bishop to f4 now, guarding the pawn, and they'll go ahead and throw this check in on b4 with the triple attack, but that's fine. Just drop your bishop back. That's the correct move, bishop to d2. Now their next move, they'll grab the pawn, and the one thing you don't want to play here, again, and this is very easy to do if you're not familiar with this, is you don't want to play bishop to c3. It looks like a good move because it attacks the queen, but they come with bishop b4 again, and now once again the rook on a1 is hanging because of the pin. And some players will play queen to d2 thinking, okay, well, this will defend, and if bishop takes, I'll just retake with my queen. But unfortunately, that allows queen to c1 mate, and red faces all around. So you don't want to fall for this one. Okay, so let's go back, and now let's take a look at a better way of playing, and that is after queen takes b2 on move 5, you want to play the correct move. Excuse me, sorry about that. You want to play knight to c3. That's the move. And what they'll usually play is knight to b4 with the idea of knight takes c2 check, and it costs you your queen to stop mate. And you have to know the right move to play here, which is knight to d4, protecting c2, a very important move. Now, there's two moves here that I'm going to cover today. One is a6, which we'll look at in a little bit, and the purpose of a6 will be to stop a knight from going to b5 and then hitting c7. But more common is pawn to c5, immediately attacking the knight that's defending c2. So if you move your knight, then c2 falls. So you have to know the right move here, which is rook b1. That's the move that saves you, because once the queen is away, now you can move that knight and there's no threat on c2. So in my game, I played the knight to b5, hitting the queen and threatening the fork on c7. My opponent played queen to a5, and now I played pawn to e4, just wanting to get my pieces out as quickly as possible. He played a6, attacking my knight. No problem. I just dropped it in for check on d6, and he took, and I retook with the pawn. And as you can see, black just is, just lagging behind in development. And I got the strong pawn on d6. The bishop on c8, is a mess. So it's not so great. Anyway, knight f6, we'll look at in a second. I did have a guy try knight takes a2, and that wasn't too good, because then I played knight d5 with a double attack on the queen from the bishop on d2, and also now knight to c7 can't be stopped. He played queen a4. I played knight c7 check. King moved. I grabbed the rook in the corner, and now he played queen takes e4 check. And I thought, okay, if I block with the queen, maybe he'll grab the pawn on c2, because also the rook on b1 will be hanging. Some nice little bait there. And what do you know? Queen e2, bam, he took the trap, and bishop to g5 check wins the queen. And so that was a nice little game. So let's go back, and knight takes e2 happened in that game, but knight f6 was played against me. And again, these are ICC games, 5-minute blitz games. And after knight f6, just developing, I went ahead and attacked the knight, pawn to e5, and knight went back to g8, and then I played knight to d5, and now I've got all kinds of threats. The knight's hit 3 times on b4. The knight is on d5 is threatening to go to c7 with check. And so it's just, this is just a dreadful opening for black. I just don't recommend it. He grabbed the pawn on a2. I went ahead and played check. He moved the king to d8. I got rid of his best piece, the knight on b4, bishop takes. He took with the pawn. I grabbed the rook in the corner. He played queen to e6. I centralized my queen, which is very powerful. The queen now in the center of the board is looking in all directions, especially the dark squares around black's king. He played pawn to f6. I played check, only move king e8, and now knight c7 wins black's queen. So that didn't work out so well. And now let's take a look at my final game that I want to show. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. And by the way, people email me and leave messages asking what I use to record these videos. The recording program is called Camtasia, and the the software for the chess is called ChessBase. And also I review books and DVDs on a website called chessville.com. And if you go there, you can see I have a new book up there I just reviewed on the endgame. Okay, so let's take a look at this final game. Pawn to d4, e5, pawn takes pawn, we take it, knight c6, knight f3 defending, queen e7, bishop f4, queen check, no problem, just drop the bishop back to d2, queen takes pawn, knight c3 is the correct move here, knight b4, we just guard it with knight d4, and now in this last game, a6 was played to cover the b5 square. I just played rook b1, attacking the queen. Queen goes back, rook b3, I hit it again. Queen went to a5, and now I played e4 again, just wanting to get my light square bishop out. He played c5, attacking my knight. I dropped it back to f3. Now he played queen c7. I played a3, just sending his knight back. I dropped it back to c6. Then I played knight into d5, hitting the queen. Queen goes back to b8. Then I played bishop f4, and bam! I'm sorry about this. I just couldn't resist. After bishop f4, look at all of white's pieces. It's like the 4th of July. I'm sorry. I just had to do it. White is just covering so many squares that I just don't get why would black go in for this. But anyway, sorry. Knight g7, trying to develop. And I played e6, opening up my bishop on f4 towards black's queen. He's only got one square. a7, it's just sad. And now I went ahead and threw in the check. He moved his king to d8. I didn't grab the rook yet. I wanted to continue to take squares away from the king, so I played pawn takes f7. He played knight g6, attacking my bishop on f4. I dropped it back, and now he played h5. He's going to try and trap my bishop. You know, a drowning man will go for anything, right, to save himself. But anyway, I played h4 to stop that, and now he made the losing move, the worst move on the board, although they all look pretty bad. Yeah, bishop e7, and now it's game over. Do you see it? Yep, knight e6 mate, because of the queen on d1 pins the pawn on d7. Anyway, those are some fun traps in the Englund Gambit. I hope you enjoyed my lecture for today. This is Michael Jeffries. Have a good day. Bye.